Hey, yo, welcome back to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs, and as always, I am joined by AIW owner John Thorne. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Oh, had an interesting afternoon. Today was the total solar eclipse thing that we had going on today, so I checked that out.
Totality,
yeah.
Right?
I set the bar really low expectation-wise because Cleveland, you know what I mean? I don't know. We have bad luck with stuff like that. I feel like, I don't know, maybe, or just myself, I didn't think that I had the greatest luck. Like, I assumed it was going to be cloudy, you know what I mean? Like, we weren't going to be able to get a good, view of it. And it was pretty rad, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I went to my grandma's house because, she's 86 and has dementia. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea what was going on, and because I just didn't want her to walk outside and get blinded, get her retinas burned or whatever, and be like, "What's going on out here? Why is it dark?"
Yeah.
So I went over there, and she still had no idea what was going on. She's like, "Who's moving that?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Who's up there moving it?" And I was like, I don't what are you talking about?
That's an intense question, dude. That's intense.
I was just like, I don't even know how to answer this. So,
yeah.
She was not, she was not gathering it. And, to be honest, it was cool to look at, but I was just like, I don't know if this was, I don't feel I was as moved as some people were by witnessing it.
You weren't taking in its rays and its energies.
Yeah, just like, oh, okay,
I thought it was pretty rad. I didn't get too spiritually moved by it or anything, but everyone in my company taking my boss and the other guy everybody taking the day off work, which in turn got me the day off. That was cool. I was fine with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially because
my job was closed, because I work downtown, and they were just trying to keep everybody out of downtown if they can with all the Eclipse events, and then, the home opener is getting ready to start here as we're recording this right now.
I feel like they already had a lot of people downtown as is because the women's NCAA Final Four was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever down there this weekend. I know the championship game was Sunday, so they already started the weekend with a ton of people, and then, we had tourism coming in for the totality thing, so, yeah, that was probably the best idea, was to take the day off for you guys, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was, it allowed me to get some work, AIW work done too. We are starting to roll out those 420 announcements. You're going to see stuff dropping every day now, and get the ball rolling on that because it started off pretty hot when we put the tickets on sale. Front row sold out instantly, and then it kind of stalled. So it is a big, and we talked about it, a few times on this podcast. But it's a big kind of experiment to see, if we can, continue, the crowds that we pull in Akron without a big meet and greet person, So starting to roll everything out on that. We got a little bit behind with, the Jesse Lamar, the graphic designer. He had, some things pop up, so I got all that stuff, and I started rolling it out today, and I got everything kind of set, on a schedule of announcing the card and the matches. If you want to see, all the matches have been announced already on our Patreon, but if you don't want to spend that money, you will see everything rolling out over the next week.
Yeah, and I mean, we were up kind of late. I don't know how late you stay. Saturday night I was up real late, but Sunday we were up kind of late too. I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't mention anything about WrestleMania this weekend, the showcase of the Immortals. We were up kind of late watching that, so it was nice to have the day off today for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Had a couple silver bullets last night at Duke W3, and it was. I had some serious FOMO, honestly, with just looking at everybody's social media over the last week or so. Everybody out in Philly doing, all the Mania weekend events and, so many indie shows and just different events, and then, WWE events and WrestleMania itself 2 nights in a row. Just so much going on in the world of wrestling. And you know, it was just great to see. You know, all those shows seemed packed. You know, I stayed up super late on Saturday because I watched Mania, and then I wanted to watch Kaplan and the Clusterfuck, which she hit.
I had to see the Punjabi prison too. Dom was in the Punjabi prison. That was sick too.
I missed that because I was watching the Mania press conference thing. You know, after Mania, and then
okay.
I put it on because I was like, I want to see Kaplan, which, you know, you have no idea when he's going to hit the ring. And like, he hit the ring at like 2:14 a.m. or something like that. So it was
it was 87 entrants, they said. 87. Like, that is so, like, we were watching it. Oh, shit. Drop my microphone. Sorry. We were watching it, and, you know, we kept saying, this could be a spot. This could be a spot. It's like, people just kept coming out, and it wasn't Kaplan. And we're like, God damn, like, what is this happening? It just kept getting later and later.
I know it was a late one, but you know, so many awesome events. You know, that's what's great about Triller TV Plus is like you can see so much of this stuff for, you know, what is it, like $9.99 a month or something? You know, super low like that. So yeah, I mean, just great. You know, I love WrestleMania. You know, like I love, you know, just it is like the Super Bowl. You know, I know that there's a lot of people that have their criticisms and critiques all over social media about it, but
it was.
I love it. You know what I mean? Like it could be the worst in-ring show on earth, and like it doesn't matter because I want you know, it's ingrained in the pop culture now at this point. It is you know, it's just. I can find a way to enjoy it, and man, like I thought both nights were great. We watched, you know, night 2 together last night on Sunday, and you know, just create, like, you know, when, you know, there's a bunch of guys that are involved in wrestling, and we're all sitting around, and like we're all jumping up, you know, out of our chairs. You know, it was awesome. You know, awesome WrestleMania, and it just feels like, you know, the wrestling business as a whole is just like on fire, and you just have to hope that kind of, you know, rising tides, you know, raises all ships thing, you know, that trickle down effects comes down to the indies and us and everybody else, because it seems like pro wrestling is the most well received among the mainstream, you know, normal people that it's ever been.
Yeah, it's back, I would say, a little bit at least. But they do such a good job too. Like WWE, like WrestleMania is such a fun one to watch because I don't pay as much attention as I used to, like, at all. But they do such a good job of kind of catching you up to speed. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't really have to know much about any of the matches going into it. They do all those packages and stuff. So.
And that's what I mean. You don't have to watch Raw or SmackDown or anything because WWE is just going to educate you. They're going to put it all together in a nice, clean 3-minute package. And that makes it so much easier for anybody to watch. Like any casual person with any sort of curiosity, they can just turn on WrestleMania and they can know what's going on. And, so, I mean, I had a great time. I love WrestleMania. It's just like, it is like, you know, there's that meme going around like, oh, you know, about the holiday, and it was like the WrestleMania logo. Like, I mean, I do look at it like it's a holiday weekend. I mean, it's just it is the, you know, the greatest spectacle in sports. So super just you know, it's just always motivating when you see it. And, you know, at the same time, it's, you know, like I said, there was that FOMO that AIW was not, you know, didn't have a presence and was not out in Philadelphia really at all. You know, there was multiple times where I was like ready to, you know, hop in the car, book a flight because like it looked like everybody was having so much fun. I mean, when I saw the video of Swoggle rapping Funky Grammar,
Wale Mania,
man, did I feel like I was missing out on the funnest day of my life.
Oh man, I mean that's the kind of energy I'm hoping he's bringing this Thursday to Big Trouble, man. I mean, I want to see Swoggle. You know, I'm sure they got some sort of karaoke capabilities. You know, it's a concert venue. I'm sure we can get something going.
The last two nights, the last 2 times we were there, they had karaoke going in the main bar area.
Yeah, we need to get Swoggle on that. That's for sure. Yeah,
it's for sure. I'm signing them up.
there was at least 2 separate times you were really seriously on the fence. You're like, I don't know, because I was like, are we gonna anybody get together? Is there any blast zone going on? You're like, I don't know, I might fly out. I don't know. There's like 2 separate times you were like really seriously like considering it. I was laughing.
Yeah,
Philly's expensive though to fly into for some reason. It isn't like a weird, like there's only so many direct flights into Philly or something.
It was crazy. It was like $700. So I was like, I'm not, like I'm looking at it. I'm like,
That's
man,
a lot.
it looks like fun. But if I'm going in 700 in the hole, you know what I mean? I'm coming back like in way worse shape, just once I get out there. So I did fight the temptation and the urge, but it was super difficult.
I saw somebody say beers at Mania were like $17 or something like that. I mean, geez.
Oh God, I would have been maxing on my credit card probably.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I think it's a hard sell now. Imagine if Thorne would have went to Mania. It would be really hard selling this show.
And I will. It kind of. I've been getting a lot of questions about it, so I guess I'll address it. GCW did announce that they are coming to Cleveland on August the 2nd, Friday, and I'm just going to come out and say it right now. AIW will also be running SummerSlam weekend-ish, SummerSlam week. We are going to run an event. We're going to both be at Temple Live. We will be Thursday, August 1st. GCW will be Friday, August 2nd. And then, of course, SummerSlam will be Saturday, August 3rd. So if people are planning to come out for SummerSlam weekend, obviously it seems like WWE is going to continue to try to build this, crazy upward trajectory that they've been on right now. Hopefully it's going to attract, fans just like WrestleMania does. So getting it out there early, people plan accordingly, try to hit town Thursday night. I think, it's just, I think that's the best way to go about it. GCW was like, you guys, they kind of like, they said, you guys should play the home game. You guys should do the big Friday night. And I said, you know what? Like, no, I would prefer to go on Thursday. You guys can do Friday, and like let's just kind of keep the momentum going. Because I said, our fans, they have the benefit of seeing us every month. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think that I think Thursday is our best play. To get those people traveling in, all that stuff. Let's make it a huge wrestling week in Cleveland, Ohio, to start off August, and so I'm just getting that out there now. So it's going to be pretty crazy because Absolution is going to be July 13th at Temple Live. And then we're coming right back on August 1st with a big SummerSlam weekend event. And then from there, of course, we're gonna cap off the month with Wrestle Rager at No Class. So the summer is it doesn't seem like it's going to have a lot of those festival type things so far, but it seems like it's going to have, a fair amount of major events. Cause we certainly have, we have the Rap Show in June, we have Absolution in July. And now we have, SummerSlam weekend in August with, Wrestle Rager to also end the month right now. So
breaking news, man. Hell yeah. That's going to be sweet. Yeah, because a lot of people were pretty much asking as soon as the SummerSlam thing got announced by WWE, and we had pretty much everybody asking us, hey, is there going to be something going on? And, but yeah, that'll be...
Maybe we'll try to add something more that weekend, but I think doing, one big event on Thursday night, GCW on Friday, SummerSlam on Saturday, I think that is a good kind of 1-2 punch heading into SummerSlam. And, hopefully everybody travels, everybody shows up, supports both shows, and, obviously, WrestleMania is going to fill fucking Brown Stadium, so there should be a ton of intrigue and interest in wrestling that week.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of wrestling fans in town for it, you would think. So, yeah, I would hope to see both of those shows packed pretty good. And, I mean, that's a cool thing about GCW is they have guys. We have, we share roster members, whatever, but they have some people that you're only going to see. Gage is only a GCW guy. There's a couple other guys, that are GCW exclusive, so it'd be pretty cool to see who they bring and what their card looks like for Friday night.
Yeah, so I think it's I'm not too. I'm never really too keen on like bringing more companies to the Cleveland area because it just kind of waters the market down. But like GCW has cemented themselves as being a part of these big WWE weekends. Brett has been, as soon as it was rumored, I've been talking to Brett about trying to, coordinate something like this. And, once we got word of the date, I was pretty on Temple Live about securing it. It sounds like both shows are going to be in the big room. So, tons of potential to fill those places out. And, I really think that, everything just seems to be trending so upward right now in the world of wrestling. I just hope that, we can keep that momentum going. And, it seems it's weird to be so kind of organized in a way, to like have these plans so far out and getting the word out. We have tickets on sale for like 3 shows right now, getting ready to have them on for, like 6 shows really, just waiting on graphics and things. And then, it's just hoping that we can just, keep this ball rolling throughout the year.
I'm pretty excited. Like you said, we don't have as many, as the festival kind of stuff like that we did last year, but the schedule's starting to fill up and it's getting pretty exciting. So I'm excited for warm weather and wrestling shows. Speaking of wrestling shows, we got one this week. Normally we do a little bit of a hard sell on the podcast the week of the show, kind of run down the card and let you know. I believe everything has been announced on our Patreon, if not to the general public.
I think everything's out there. I think everything's out there now.
Okay.
As of yesterday, I think everyone's out there now.
Well, it's hard to say where you want to start on this card, but we do have not a debut, but a return, I guess, because this person they came for one of the new talent initiatives, and they wrestled as part of a tag, I believe. But we have the production is going to be taking on Bronson and Gabby Forza performing a tag team. Gabby, we saw the last time we were here at Mercury Music Lounge. She's coming back, and this time she's bringing Bronson, and they're going to see the production across from them. That should be a pretty interesting, a match.
I think you're a little mistaken on that. Bronson, also known as Bear Bronson, who was in Bear Country, who were regulars pre getting signed to AEW.
Yeah,
they did a bunch of shows. I don't think he ever did the talent initiative.
They weren't on the Akron one. Okay, maybe I'm just thinking they were in Akron, but yeah, I mean they wrestled several times. I thought they started with AIW through that Akron show was like their first one, but yeah, Bear Country they used to be around all the time before they got signed.
I think you're thinking of CPA did that, and Bobby Orlando did that, but I don't believe Bear Country ever did. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. But, I could be wrong. It all kind of met me, because that was still when I was just a fan too. I didn't even work for the company at the time, so some of that stuff bleeds together. Just because I was in the crowd having some sodas there, so I blame that one. But yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is just part of the types of things that we can do with these Thursday events. Like we've said before, they're a little looser. They're kind of canon, kind of not canon. It's these shows are really kind of put together to put on, get people reps, of course, as we'll get to throughout breaking on this card. But it's also we can do things like this, like this intergender tag match. I just think that's why I really love the potential of these Thursday shows. Like we've talked about before, the jury's still out on if they're going to become a regularly successful thing that we do. That's why we're hard selling though. Tickets are a little light right now as we recorded this Monday afternoon. But I'm hoping things pick up this week. You're coming out of the WrestleMania fallout and all that stuff. But that's that's what I think is great about these Thursdays is we can get a little looser with the format and do a bunch of different things. And this is a perfect example of two people like Derek and Katie who are on most of the lineups, if not all of the AIW main show lineups, but getting them in there, as a tag, against another intergender tag. And, it's something that you probably wouldn't see, on a on a Temple Live show, or something like that. It's just there's just more room for experimentation on these Thursday night events, which I personally really enjoy.
But it's great too because you can still, like you said, there's a lot of freedom, but you're still going to see the bigger names on there, like Derek, and then Bronson guy wrestles on AEW all the time. So it's like, we have these looser formats, but you're still, not like you said, it's not student shows. You're still going to see people that you're familiar with, but we have a chance to kind of do some out of the box thinking type shit with them. And I think Gabby was very well received last time she came to the Mercury Music Lounge as well. I think everybody will be excited to see her return.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's just a ton of potential on these shows, and she very much impressed us. When she was here a couple weeks ago at the Leap event, which will hopefully be going up on Triller Plus TV soon. I think it's pretty much done and edited, according to Chase Oliver. Chase has just been so overwhelmed with stuff, and we're actually going to have a meeting on Friday to kind of try to smooth out all these different projects and all these different things that we have planned for the year, and kind of get try to just tighten things up and just smooth things out, so people can see this stuff like the Leap show, you know what I mean, and because I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I mean, he has a lot on his plate, but he is too. I mean, he put a picture out. He's slowly starting to come back to training again too. He was hurt, but now they're saying he's allowed to start training again. So that's just another thing that he's kind of got going on to try and balance all the time. But yeah, that was a great show, and I think maybe if more people came out to these Thursdays, we can maybe, you never know, start streaming them, or so you never know. It just depends what the situation. Because I know a lot of people had complained about the no streaming for on the Thursday shows, but I just think that's part of the draw, man. You got to come out. You got to see it live. You never know what's going to be on the card.
I just think it just adds to, getting people out on a Thursday night and not streaming live. It takes a little bit of the pressure off the performers. A lot of them are, newer students. Not saying that they couldn't wrestle the exact same way if we were live. It just, it gives us a looser format. People can take more time in the ring. We're not trying to hit these time cues and all this stuff. Maybe one day we'll stream them. I don't know, but it's like a give and take thing. It's just like, do you want to stream? And then that probably by default means less people are going to come out on a Thursday night because it's a Thursday night.
Right.
Or do you want to not stream and kind of, twist people's arm a little bit to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get out and go live, because it's much cooler to wrestle in front of a packed live venue than a, partially packed, streamed show. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
More streamed. It's just, it's just it's hard to find that balance, man. And I talked to, I talked to a lot of the roster today. Actually, we kind of had a little, town hall type of thing, and I just said it's really hard to find that balance for everybody, right? Like, I feel like we have guys that present themselves like stars. They have, they have the presentation and all that stuff down, but and it works so well with our live audience, but I don't know how well it translates to the streaming audience. You know what I mean? Because the streaming audience kind of wants different things because, attention spans and all that stuff, like to sit there and watch these shows. Like, I don't know how much character development the streaming audience cares about, as opposed to the live audience who is like interacting and vocally, participating in these shows,
right.
Be it people they like or people they don't like. I don't know how much that translates to the streaming audience who does not get to give that, instantaneous, boo or cheer or heckle, you know what I mean? Like, to where, I did say, some people need to find that balance of innovation, within their in-ring work to where they can cater to this live audience, be it good guy or bad guy, or that continue their almost presentations as stars, quote unquote. But they also have to cater to the streaming audience and give them high caliber wrestling that they are so used to seeing, on so many of these shows, like GCW or, anything that streams, you can watch some of these shows and you can see some of, whether it's good, bad, or in between, you see some of the most crazy, innovative, creative things on some of these other shows, to where the AIW talent is focused. It's very character driven. It's very, story driven. They are good matches, but some people are not pushing themselves enough, on the creative standpoint within the ropes. So we had a big conversation about that today, with primarily the local based roster coming out of the school and stuff like that. But it is tough to kind of find that middle ground of getting these visceral reactions, good or bad, to a live audience, but also trying to get a following and people to pay attention in the streaming realm of things as well.
Do you think it was well received? Do you think people heard you or were receptive to it?
I don't know. All I get is heart reactions, and when I send these long thought out things and these group chats, and kind of open it up for discussion, like it just gets like a heart reaction or whatever. So I don't know if it sinks in or not. But it's been something that's weighing it's been weighing on me, because I do think that everybody, we do have the talent, to do all of these things. But, I think some people lean more into, we are trying to be more like a story driven presentation and, things like that. And I think it has, and I think the people that are locked in on that, it's great, and we have a hardcore fan base that really appreciates it. But then we do have this audience, we do have like a casual viewer audience that is going to look and go, well, I just saw a guy do a fucking like a 450 senton on GCW, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's just it's just kind of different. People are looking for different things, and I'm just trying to figure out how we can we can reach as many people looking for all these different things as possible. So it is a balance. So that's just like a very long explanation as to say, like, I don't know if we'll be streaming the Thursday shows, because I do feel like, when you get more people out there, it creates a better atmosphere and a better work environment for, the live crowd. So, I don't know if, how it translates to the streaming audience.
Fair enough. Moving forward, another return, making her return again. Xia Brookside coming back, and she's going to be facing off against Jocelyn Navarro. This is going to be a sick match. Is she? Because she's not from. She's British, right? So she's been around here for a minute. Is she just staying here for a little while, or she hasn't been flying back and forth, right?
No, she's based in Orlando now. And,
okay.
Recently signed with TNA. So,
okay.
She's here to stay, it seems, for the foreseeable future. I think this is a match that everyone has been waiting for, since Xia Brookside had kind of showed up in AIW. Jocelyn, as I've said, was the gold standard of this, this resurgence in a sense of trying to rebuild this women's division in AIW. So it's just I think this is one that people have wanted for a little bit, and this is the perfect place to do it. And that's the thing, as we say, on the Thursdays, there's more room to do things. There's more there's more kind of time to experiment and add more match. I think we have 9 or 10 matches on Thursday.
Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah, so it's just great, and this is one that I think people have been looking forward to, and I think this is one that I hope people, want to come out and buy a ticket and see live and in person.
Yeah, it's almost like we couldn't give it to you right away. We had to make people wait a little bit. You know what I mean? You can't just give people what they want right away. We had to string people along a little bit. But this is definitely one the fans, I think, have been asking for right since Xia Brookside has kind of shown up in AIW.
Yeah, and I think both are just extremely talented, and I think it's. I don't want to say it's a test for Jocelyn, but it's certainly a different experience for her to get in with somebody with the skill set of Xia Brookside. Super well traveled, long time, like a young veteran. I'd been wrestling probably the majority of her life. So I just think it's going to be an incredible matchup of two veterans. Different styles and things like that, to where sometimes when you put these these kind of contrasting styles in, magic is to follow.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Joss for a minute. She wasn't on the last show, so you can't miss you if you're not gone. So people, I'm sure, have been clamoring to see Joss.
No, her and Malcolm wrestled Katie and Derek.
That was on. That wasn't.
Was that Leap?
Leap. Yeah. Okay. I'd say she wasn't on Tougher Than Leather. She skipped a show, so it was like we missed her for a show. But yeah, you can't miss you if you're not gone for a little bit. But it'd be great to see her back again. Wasn't very long of a. I can't think of the word.
Absence.
Absence. There we go. I wouldn't think of the word. Wasn't too long of an absence, but it'll be good to see her back in AIW. Going forward, this was a match that was announced pretty right away after the last show. We saw some fallout from Tougher Than Leather with Dominic Garrini facing Shawn Mason. Dom kind of put the boots to Shaw there a little bit and kind of beat him up, and some people are not happy about this. I saw some very visceral tweets after that show when that all went down.
Yeah, and this is one of those things to we talk about the live reaction and the live crowd and how things are playing with it, and are playing into it, and this was one that I don't think anyone saw coming. I think there was visceral reaction in both directions, right? Like there were people that were happy to see Dom get a little bit of that mean streak back in him again, and there were also people that were disappointed to see Shaw's trainer turn on him. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of reactions in a lot of different directions, and I figured let's just ride that wave of that reaction and that moment, and put it right out here this Thursday night and let them settle the score.
This is another one too. This is a match you could see on any one of the bigger shows. So it's like, once again, the freedom that we have with these Thursdays. That's like, you never know what you're going to see. You may see some of the newer debut students, that you're not as familiar with, or you could see Dom and Shaw. You know what I mean? You never really know. Thursday, like you said, it's like a wild card anymore. We can go crazy with these cards, and especially with the no streaming. I like the aspect of that. I think we should do one of these Thursdays. We do a surprise again, where we do no card announce, and you just let them happen as they come through the curtain.
Well, we gotta build up a for sure fan base right now with
sure?
41 tickets sold and a few days to go. I'm not feeling too confident in that idea. Obviously, hopefully the walk up is huge and all that stuff. But with Shaw and Dom, this is one to where it's like, if you put that on one of the main cards, as I just talked about, there's we have times that we have to hit. We have all this stuff going on a stream. There's promos, there's video packages, there's all this stuff. Doing it here on Thursday, where we could take the restraints off and let them go out there. No time restraints, no anything. I'd imagine these guys are going to be out there for quite some time. And that's just to the benefit of doing it on a Thursday where we're not streaming it, where, we can give that live audience, a real, long form matchup, so to speak.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we've only announced 3 matches here so far on the podcast, and those are all 3 huge matches that, you know what I mean, you could see on the main card. So it's like you want to come out to these Thursday shows and build up this audience and build, you know, the regularity of how great these Thursdays can be. And these 3 matches already, just the ones we've said so far, I think are great matches. You know, coming right out the gate hot.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you know, it's just. It's just a different way of doing it, you know what I mean? And just I think that I don't know, like it's just everything's a try. Like I thought about this the other day, you know, because you know, we do have that trailer that is dropping. You know, by the time this podcast comes out, that the trailer for the AIW documentary is dropping today. And I was thinking about it, and it's just like they were following us for 5 years off and on. And so much happened in that 5 years, you know, the pandemic, you know, all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's just like, then like I look at it like you know, there's some quotes from me in the trailer and, you know, I really started kind of analyzing like what I said. And then it's just like, I've been doing AIW for 19 years at this point. And it's just like, it never is easy. You know, it's never gotten easier. It's never gotten, you know, it's always been change or different, you know, just different things to, you know, overcome, obstacles, all that stuff. And it's just like, man, like, I would think that, like, I've been doing it for so long, it would have been such a routine and it'd be on cruise control at this point. And like this documentary is kind of proof that like it never is. And it's always kind of, you know, it's always a toss up and the world can, you know, shatter beneath us at any time, you know, as far as trying to run this company. Yeah, so like this Thursday is just another example of experimentation. You know, the Thursday shows in general of, you know, live crowd only, you know, in this kind of streaming era of things. Like, I don't know, you know, it's just like you have to try and you have to experiment because, you know, one thing that I've learned, you know, and this trailer kind of opened my eyes to it for this documentary is, you know, there is no routine to it, you know, like there's no way to get complicit as a wrestling promoter because like things change, taste change, like all that stuff changes so quick.
Yes, I mean, especially for as long as you've been doing it too. That's the thing. You know, if you're some fly-by-night company, you might be able to do the same routine for a year or so, but things change in this industry. Yes, I mean, to really stick around and, you know, built to last, as you say, you know, that was kind of the thing with AIW, built to last. And, you know, it's all just, you know, trying to figure out what works. I think the Thursday shows are great. I hope we have a big walk up, like we typically do. Hopefully I think the weather's supposed to be pretty nice. You know what I mean? So should get a pretty good walk up in there. Gets, you know, a couple beverages. Should be a good time. If you don't have tickets yet, come on out. You can get tickets at AIWrestling.com. I believe you could can you buy tickets? Can you go there to Mercury and just buy tickets there or no? We do tickets. We do them through us, right?
Yeah, it's all Eventbrite stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, just through Eventbrite like usual.
But $20 only. I mean, it's a hell of a steal if you ask me. Also on the card, I just saw a promo for this. It's a little bit of hustling going on. Everybody's favorite hustler, Nipsey Nash, got the best of Dr. Dan. A little bit of 3-card money going on that they were playing, and Dan's looking for some retaliation here this Thursday. I saw.
Dabble or do, right? That's the Dr. Dan thing, right? Dabble or do.
I think he was dabbling a little bit in the gambling pool and didn't like where he came out. And now he's going to try and get some revenge here on Thursday.
The one thing I will say about that is I appreciate the effort into something to make a story. I I just don't know about the, having the 3-card Monty set up right in the middle of the training center. Like I don't know. I would have maybe, if I was consulted, maybe shot this in a different, in a different area.
You think the people at the workout center there, where that shares the training center, are looking at it like, maybe they want to get in there, throw some dollars down?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if it was the best look for the personal trainers in the background walking by and all that stuff.
Hopefully it was later hours where there was no one in there. Well, if they're doing sketchy stuff like that, there, Nipsey, you got to use your head a little bit.
But this is one that, I talked about this with Dom yesterday, kind of in depth, and the good thing about having Dr. Dan back is he is a guy that, much about how I said about people kind of need to learn how to get creative between the ropes and all that stuff I addressed today to the group of, students and, guys kind of locally based. Dan is a guy that can do that and can bring that out of, especially these younger new kids. Dan has always been somebody that had pushed himself to, get creative and, get the most out of his opponents. And I actually said this to Dom. I said, the unfortunate thing is Dan can't wrestle all of these kids on the same night,
right.
Because Dan is one of those guys that can do that and can bring things out and knows how to make himself look good, make his opponent look good. And I think, it is a invaluable piece that we had been missing as far as the development of these younger talents is, Dr. Dan being back.
Yeah.
And I think, Nipsey Nash is a guy who is obviously very character driven. Not the flashiest guy when it comes to his in-ring, but I think I have high hopes for this match because I think somebody like Dr. Dan, who is also character driven but can also, do some cool stuff when he needs to, I think that this could be a very great learning experience for Nipsey Nash to learn where to put these things, and he's worked on these bits, here and there, with his character, and some of it hits and some of it has not. And I think this is the match that I personally, it's a loaded card, but for overall intrigue, this is the match that I am most looking forward to seeing how it goes. Because I think that this could be a tremendous, it could either go really bad or really good, but I think this could be a tremendous learning experience for Nipsey Nash to get in there with somebody like Dan, who has been in there with a ton of veterans and a ton of experienced people and learned where to put things.
Yeah.
I am hopeful that Dan can kind of mold Nipsey Nash in a way. Like, I know we're really breaking the third wall, and how,
how the sausage is made,
how it's all made, right? But this is what I'm looking forward to because, Dan can do it, and I think that, not to put too much pressure on either of these guys, but I think that this is a tremendous opportunity for Nipsey Nash to try to really put the pieces together.
Yeah, because especially with the character stuff, there's so many ways to kind of stand out and kind of elevate yourself. You look at a perfect example, Dan, when, they had the scramble match. It was a 6-man scramble, and you're in there with some big personalities, Big Sam, you got Filthy Tom in there, Micro Man, you got a lot of big personalities in there. Dan was able to immediately, kind of separate himself from everybody with giving Micro Man the pamphlet and picking his spots like that, certain things that he does, it could be a very great teaching moment for Nipsey to see kind of how a guy like you said, and I've seen. The funny thing is, Dan didn't want to be Lucha Dan for a little while. He can bring it when he has to. He can do some moves, but he picks and chooses these spots, where what he wants to shine and what he wants to show. And I think it could be a very good teaching moment for Nipsey for sure. And I think they could have a great match. Two kind of character kind of guys. Like I think it's like you said. I think this could be easy show stealer.
Yeah, that's my hope, and even if it doesn't necessarily steal the show, I hope it does something for Nipsey because breaking that wall down. It just a super great guy, super nice dude, like very humble guy. Trained for a very long time to get to finally make a debut. So I hope that this is very good for him.
Speaking of scrambles, we do have a 4-way in the card here. We got Wes Barkley taking on Kaplan, taking on Tyson Riggs, taking on Big Sam Holloway. So a couple of these people, have seen each other before. Big Sam and Kaplan have mixed it up. I know Wes and Kaplan have mixed it up. Kaplan and Tyson have been in there before. So, I mean, we've seen a little bit, kind of pieces and parts of this all together. Now we're going to see all 4 of them in the ring at the same time. And this is another one like Thursday. You can kind of just throw some people in the deep end and see how it goes there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyson Riggs has, like I said about people trying to put it together and figure it out, I think he is finally starting to put it together and figure it out. And, he is not maybe perceived on the same plane as these other 3 guys, in front of the fans' eyes, but he's extremely talented and unique in his own way. And I think, this was like, hey, the only way to learn is to throw somebody in the deep end of the pool and see what goes on.
Sure. Yeah, I think this could be a huge moment for him for sure going forward. I think, like you said, there's 3 bigger names in this one with him, and he could definitely come out looking all right. If he handles his business well, which I think he's shown in these past few shows and past few months that he's really, like you said, really kind of starting to find his way. And I don't want to put him over too hard there. He's mean to me every time I talk to him. But yeah, no. Tyson really starting to come around, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I was very impressed. I probably said it on here, but him and Zay Garcia had a dark match at I believe it was Eye for an Eye at the Tadmore Shrine, and it was just like, why haven't you been wrestling like that? You know what I mean? I know you kind of have this goofy character in a way, but it's just like, hey, like he really stood out to me. And, that's what I was talking about, much of innovation and all this different stuff. Like the things that he was doing was very unique in that match. So where it was just like, okay, now let's start throwing in some opportunities this way, is he going to win this 4-way? Probably not. But if he can have a good showing, and stand and bang with these guys that are very established, quote unquote, main roster AIW guys, whatever people.
Yeah. Stars of the company, for sure.
Stars of the company.
Yeah.
Maybe he can get a little bit of that, a little bit of that magic rubbing off on him, going forward.
That was funny. We kind of said it at the same time. I was kind of thinking the same thing. But and another point too, and I don't want to beat it over the head, but it's a perfect opportunity with these Thursdays because he said him and Zay go out there. They have a dark match before Eye for an Eye, where obviously we don't stream our dark matches. It's a little less. You have the live audience there, but it's a little less stress. You're not getting streamed. There's nothing like that. This Thursday is a similar situation. They can kind of go out there and have some fun and kind of just see what happens. Another situation where it's a little laxed, a little more, easy. Tyson could really, you string a few of these together, you know what I mean? And you really got some confidence under your belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that is another really big piece of it is, this could be a confidence booster if he can get in there and, he can hang.
Another one on the card I'm excited for, Austin James. We haven't seen the Slugger for a show or two versus Tyler Jordan. Tyler has really been bringing the heat. He has had these matches with Josh Prohibition. Him and Josh Bishop tagged, against the Cleveland All Pros the last show. Tyler has really been, showing what he's made of, and I'm excited to see him versus AJ. I think AJ is a guy who has had some really bright flashes on the card, the spots that he's been given. I think he really makes the most of them, and I'm excited to see him go one-on-one with somebody like Tyler, who is ascending quickly as well.
Yeah, I think Austin James has had, some flashes of greatness. There is certainly an immense amount of talent somewhere in there. You know what I mean? And he's always delivered when he's given an opportunity. This was initially going to be Austin James versus Josh Bishop. Josh really sees a lot of potential in Austin James and really wanted to kind of get in there with him. But, he is also fighting through a shoulder injury, and I made the decision to take him out. He did not want to. He fought me on it, and he's pretty upset that
he's mad at you, right?
But,
he's pissed.
He is wrestling Jason Bain on 420 at the Tadmore Shrine, and I wanted him to be as as rested and ready as possible for that, because that is going to be certainly a tough night at the office, and I did not want him to go out there and risk injury by giving Austin James, trying to give Austin James this, career-defining match. So, I actually had Tyler Jordan off, and Tyler Jordan, said that he wants to continue to get as many reps as possible. So it was kind of an easy switch there to switch those guys out.
Josh is almost like a guy you almost like have to save him from himself, because he's going to try to go no matter what. And it's like, dude, you got this massive match with Jason Bain, something you've been wanting. You gotta. He won't listen to you if you're like, maybe you should take the night off. He will not. He doesn't want that. So you gotta protect him from himself almost.
Oh, absolutely. You do have to protect him from himself. I mean, proof in point is I told him and Justice absolutely to never consider going out of that balcony, and told them no when they even kind of floated the idea, on that day.
Yeah.
And then sure as shit, there they fucking go. So yeah, you do need to save Josh Bishop from Josh Bishop. He is his own worst enemy for himself,
Love it. That's what we love about him. He's a maniac. Josh is the best. Looking forward in the card, though, we do have some tag team action. We got our guys, members only, coming back versus backs. Some we were just talking about, Zay Garcia and Sydney Von England. They're going to mix it up, those two. Been chirping, a lot of chirping back and forth on Twitter. I haven't seen any promo video back and forth, but they have certainly been doing a lot of back and forth on Twitter.com, X.com, whatever you want to call it. There is
against each other or something, right?
I saw there was some bowling that was being done. Oh yeah, there was a video because they were discussing the bowling match that had went on this past weekend in Philadelphia. I guess they did some bowling.
I don't know this is how you sell a match, but what do they bowl, like 100 each or something?
I don't want to comment on anyone's bowling skills or whether or not who should be making fun of who, but yeah, they did some bowling, and apparently there was some fallout from it, because I know some of these they're mostly friendly. Most of these guys together, they're friendly for the most part, but seems like there was some battle lines were crossed this past weekend, and we're going to get to see them go at it this Thursday. Backs and members only.
Yeah, I think, members only have been around for quite some time, and they have, again, they've showed a ton of kind of, like I said about Austin James, there are some, there have been some bursts of, really, great things and talent in there. And then, there are also times where there's not really great things, and they're off. They have not figured out how to be on 100% of the time yet, which is nearly impossible, but it's they can have some great showings, and then they've had some not so great showings, and I think they are kind of on that cusp of putting it all together, and Sid Von England, he's had many kind of incarnations and transitions, and he's always trying to put something together, and now he's trying to make this tag thing around with Zay Garcia, and then I have not seen much of them, to be honest, but they had a great one at Leap against Shaw and Dominic Carini, which led me to want to give them another one. So, I mean, I'm very interested in this, just to see how all four of these talents work together.
I think this one is a great matchup for members only, for the sheer fact of, like you said, there are guys that they've been around for a little bit now. You know what I mean? They, they've been here. They've been a little bit established in AIW, but you're going to be going in against a very hungry new tag team. Bax, Sid and Zay have been showing that they're hungry. They had, like you said, the match against Dom and Shaw was a great showing, and just they're putting it out there and really trying to make their presence known in AIW and show that they're a hungry team who's looking to to put it out there. And members only, I think this is a great one to kind of not reignite the fire, because I don't think that's the right phrase or word, but I think getting in there with another hungry tag team could really kind of spark some momentum going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt.
Going forward, kind of speaking of Bax, the third member, I know the other match is just going to be a tag match, but the third member of Bax, Vic Weiss, going to be taking on Alex Melee, one of your guys, John Thorne, the John Thorne Rookie of the Year. Alex Melee going to mix it up with Vic.
I don't think Vic Weiss and Bax is canon in AIW.
Okay.
But
I see a lot of photographs of them together. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I saw a guy in a lucha mask with Zay and Sid, so I don't know who that is.
Who is that guy?
But I think Alex Melee is he's got some talent, and Vic has some talent. Like I said, there are that's what's great about these shows. There are guys that have tools, but it's like they have not totally figured out how to use all the tools. Yeah. And that's what I really love about these Thursdays is, they're able to go out there and then, they can work their shit out. And, there's going to be trial, there's going to be air, there's going to be great stuff, there's going to be bad stuff, there's going to be in between stuff. And I think this is just one of those matches to where, both of these guys, are fairly new. Vic is a little bit more experienced than Alex Melee, but still, in the grand scale of pro wrestling, still kind of be considered, rookies. And I think, Vic has that little bit more of experience, but Alex Melee has shown a lot of, he's shown a lot of fire. He's shown a lot of kind of, interesting, move sets and things like that. And, same with Vic, he had these really good matches with Austin James. And, I think that, I say it a lot, but, I think this is another one of those interesting matchups. That's what is so great about these Thursdays is I don't need to really look at like, okay, we're trying to build this story here or do this story here or build off of this here. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. But like these Thursdays are more of like, let's just put these, talent A versus talent B, and let's see what they can come up and do together, and if they can bring out good chemistry in one another, because that is the hardest part of being such a new wrestler is learning how to just develop that chemistry in the ring and work off your opponent. And you've heard every kind of old grungy vet say like it's a dance, like you got to dance with your dance partner. But there's truth to that. They have to learn how to do that, and learning to do that with somebody that is not a proven, veteran leader, it is a great learning experience in both directions and I think this is going to be great for Vic and for Alex Melee.
Yeah, it's like a spot for them, a one-on-one spot. We've seen both of them, more than not in like a scramble or like a, a 2-on-2, whatever, one-on, four-way, whatever is what I meant. But like this gives them an opportunity to kind of 1v1 and kind of figure it out, what I mean, and kind of see what they can do as far as that goes, not have to rely on somebody else, just kind of see what kind of chemistry these two can come up with as opposed to a four-way or, stuff like that. Some of the more, more show what we've seen them on other shows.
It's, right. I mean, it is obviously more difficult to try to go out there and have a 8-10 minute 1-versus-1 match than, have an 8 to 10 minute match with multiple people in it, where maybe you're gonna get a few kind of shining moments, and you know what I mean. Then you got to kind of be you're tossed to the side, and then the next guys have their moments, and it's just a different dynamic when you're getting out there and you're working a singles match like that.
Yeah, Thursday, like I said, I hate to beat over the head, but these are just the perfect examples to kind of get these talents, you know what I mean, these good shots at a one-on-one, and kind of really build their repertoire, as these newer wrestlers. Going forward, I don't know what the main event of the card will be. If we ask this guy who this will be the main event, we got Swoggle, Little Dill's coming back, taking on Chuck Stone, the Bill Alfonso Hardcore Champion. Chuck Stone gonna mix it up with Swoggle. I am very excited, especially after seeing Swoggle's performance at Wale Mania. I can't wait to see Dylan. I think he's always fun when he comes. Just a cool guy. He's a nice dude. I love when Dill's in town.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you asked him, based on the success of WrestleMania this past weekend, he would be the first to explain to all of us that he is the only person on this show that has competed in or participated in 6 WrestleManias. So I think he would certainly say that he is he should be the main event.
Yeah.
So I think that I had no idea what the main event of this show was going to be perfectly honest. But now that I'm talking and I'm thinking about Dylan yelling at me if he is not in the main event of this show, I'd rather not deal with that. So I think Chuck Stone and Little Dill Swoggle is going to be the main event this Thursday.
Chuck also, a title holder on this card. The only current title holder on this card is Chuck too. So I mean, you gotta give him that. You know what I'm saying?
The affiliate.
All right. So I mean, there we go. I like when we come up with stuff right here on the pod. It makes me feel accomplished, like I'm doing something around here.
I did think about doing this whole bit where I don't call Swoggle by his real name. Like I call him this is Darren Swoggle Postle. Just like all day Thursday, just calling him the wrong name just to see if I can get underneath his skin.
Oh, it would be instantly.
Derek Swoggle Postle. Just like different D names.
Danny.
Dickhead Swoggle Postle. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think this is. Listen, you can say a lot of things though about Swoggle. We bust on him a lot. But, the man has insane life experience in the world of pro wrestling, and has a ton to teach. And, Chuck Stone, have been very vocal about his progression since becoming a singles wrestler. And this is certainly going to be a very interesting challenge for him, I would think, getting in there with Little Dill, Dylan Hornswoggle Postle, star of Leprechaun Origins. But I just think that this is this is one of those things to where it's such a funny visual, to see those two guys looking across from each other in the ring.
It's 2 mega powers, dude.
No idea what they're going to come up with or what they're going to do, but yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in it. Also, when you see that trailer, that documentary, you will see that Swoggle is heavily featured in the film. So I think that is just it just kind of worked out perfectly, because I do feel very strongly about this trailer that it's gonna bring a lot of attention our way, because it is very it's star-studded for sure, because it was filmed over 5 years, but
yeah, it was a rad trailer.
I just feel like, I don't know, it just made me feel like maybe there's something is finally gonna break loose for us, but Swoggle is a big part of it. And go ahead.
He got shouted out. Remember, we were watching Mania yesterday with the first match. He got shouted out immediately. They were like, "Oh, Dylan, shout out Hornswoggle."
Yeah. So I think that this is going to be a fun, interesting way to close the night out on Thursday. Hopefully, people are nice and tipsy, have a couple sodas, and have fun with this one on Thursday night.
Yeah, can't wait. I love these Thursday shows. I'm very excited. I think the card is great. We got 10 matches. It's going to be a good time. Come on out. $20 tickets this Thursday at Mercury Music Lounge. Then we'll be back in Akron for When the Smoke Clears, April 20th. We will be at our local Tadmore Shrine where we're always at in Akron. And then in May 24th, we'll be back at the Masonic Temple for Gauntlet for the Gold 17 with Kurt Angle as our meet and greet. And man, that one, tickets are going fast for that one. So all 3 shows, tickets are on sale. Hit AIWrestling.com for any of those tickets. If you would like to sponsor us, if you want to get in partnership with AI Wrestling, hit up Dustin at AIWrestling.com. He's handling some sponsorship stuff now, so hit him up. We're always looking for any type of brand. If you have a brand, clothing brand, anything like that, get in touch with us.
We need that cheese money like Black Label got.
Dude, we need that Arbo's cheese dip money, man. I wanted to try that cheese dip so damn bad. I didn't get any.
Well, hey, man, I might have to bleep that out. They're not sponsoring us yet.
My bad.
But no, I think, I think that is certainly a piece of the puzzle that we've been unable to really figure out is, sponsorships and getting a big partner. Obviously the exchange has been great these last two-ish years, but I just think that there's so much opportunity if we can lock in some sponsorships and I'm just looking to kind of continue to grow this thing. And like I said, it's the one thing I realized is there's no routine to it, there's no formula really to it, it's always changing, and it's always very stressful. So at any sponsorship opportunities, anybody looking, we have all kinds of stuff. Dustin is kind of reformatting, how we do sponsorships and, coming up with new sponsorship deliverables that we can give to our potential partners. So hit them up, look into it, see if there's anything that interests you, because regardless, of how stressful it is selling tickets, for the most part, we usually do have a decent crowd and decent, kind of a reach, when you throw it all in the pot, about, all the different directions we can, throw your brand out there. So, just looking to continue to grow in 2024. I have, I've been saying it, since Josh Bishop's mom got mad at us for being too sad on the podcast, but I do feel like there has been kind of a shift, and I feel very strongly that 2024 we're going to see tremendous growth and success. I really do feel that right now, and I've never really felt that before.
Hell yeah. You're usually kind of pessimistic on that type of stuff, so hell yeah, that's good to hear. So. All right, well, I think we should end on that note. I like to hear that out of you, Thorin. So anything you want to get to before we get out of here? Anything you didn't get to say or anything?
Get out of here before I start looking at the PayPal balance in the ticket centers.
All right, well, we'll see everybody this Thursday at Mercury Music Lounge. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.